And let me know if my voice is too loud or too soft.
No, dude, I can hear you just fine. All right, looks like we're live. Everybody, what's up? This is Talkin Motorbikes, Dustin Coiner, TrackDaz, and SoCal. And I'm on with an old friend of mine, but he's out on the East Coast now, Randall Workman. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. So I met you years ago. You were still eating crayons, right?
Still eating crayons, man.
Right?
Marcus Jackson and I eating them together, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, and most of the Track Days crew back then, some of them they're still the crew, but they're not. They're like retired now, and yourself included. But the old Track Days crew, they were mostly Marines, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of us that were jarheads, man. I mean, it was weird. It was this. I mean, it was a compilation of like all of us service members.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty neat to have that, and also have that element in the pits. Like I always felt, if somebody got out of hand, I'd be like safe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, dude, I can think back to the days. It was crazy. That paddock was crazy, man. It was a lot different than where I started at WSMC.
Oh, yeah? Well, I mean, let's get into it, dude. I mean, first off, let's talk about you for first. Like where are you coming from now? Like I know you moved. You were a SoCal dude. You were eating crayons like you said, and then you had to move. So, what have you been doing since you left California? Where are you at now?
Wow, dude. So like I retired from the Marine Corps in 2015 and my ex-wife and I decided to move to her hometown here in Pittsburgh, PA, which I live 45 minutes from Pit Race. Can't hate that at all, dude. That track is epic. Um, but I now am a sales manager and account manager for um, a government agency. It's called Supply Corps, and I'm in sales now. So it's enjoyable and it pays the bills to pay the tire funding fee and everything else that comes along with this racing. But I originally grew up in Kentucky, so I'm kind of an East Coaster, but yeah, I do miss the West Coast, man.
Yeah. What do you miss about it? The tacos?
Dude, I miss the tacos, the burritos, the fresh fish, the
Yeah.
being able to ride. Pretty much you could ride your balls off and wait for your mechanic to be like, "Hey, bro, listen, you got to stop for a couple weeks so I can fix this bike." Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot different on the East Coast. There's a big it's it's a different paddock. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody that you talk to and that we talk to, they say the same thing, man. It's a different vibe.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Like, could you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, what do you mean by that?
So I I think out west, and I think it was a different niche that we had. We were all very, very super friendly. And I'm not saying we're not here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more distant, and the mentality is a little different. Dude, your podcast yesterday with Ken, Ken is spot on about like that Jersey area, man. It is a weird area. I was at a club event a couple years ago, and I'm sitting there watching these guys across the way, and I'm like, are these guys drinking at lunch? And sure as shit, these idiots are fucking drinking at lunch. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're just here to have a good time. And I'm like, but he's
Wow.
not kidding. Like, they come out as a track day and they think it's a race day. And it's like,
That's
yeah,
interesting. I mean, I've
yeah,
never. I see a lot of shit, right? Like I've arguably, I'd like to say I'd seen it all, but every now and then people prove me wrong and show me some new stupid shit. But I don't really see a lot of that. I mean, I've had a couple of run-ins with people. Like I've caught them at a track day, like in their leathers. They're like hiding behind their trailer, drinking a beer, and I walk up and they kind of see me out of the corner of their eye and they're like, and they hide it. And of course they're done for the day, clearly. But, you know, even though they may not think they're done for the day, they're done for the day, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And another big thing is, you get guys and girls that are bottled up for 6 months in the snow and whatnot. That first month of track riding is just like, everybody's like, it's like Top Gun. Which way did he go, man? And
Oh
everybody's
shit.
all over the track,
Oh,
and
because
it's
everybody's
just
still kind of like their skills are a little bit rusty from sitting in the wintertime, and then they come back and it's like, holy shit, I'm not as fast as I was last time, right?
yeah, absolutely,
So they're
and
like trying to be fast right now rather than like getting into it.
yeah, there's a big difference there. And then it's clear because I mainly ride with N2, a little bit with Evolve GT, but mainly with N2. They're a great staff. They try to control it as much as they can, but man,
Yeah.
there's just some shitheads out there that just they don't take into consideration like people like for instance, obviously put it in there. I ride an R7. So
Yeah.
I'm very good in the corners. I can hold my corner speed. Then you got these idiots on an R1 or a Gixxer
Hey
1000
now.
that just, hey, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying these idiots out there and they stuff your line or they cut your nose off and it's like, listen, dude, you got me by 100 horsepower and you can't ride like a freaking idiot throttle jockey in the corner like that. They ride like that a lot here.
That's interesting. I
But
mean,
it's
we see some stuff, I mean, every time like the first track day that it's kind of cold, I
yeah,
mean, that's kind of like you get a little bit of that there, or the opposite of that, the first track day that's like really hot and people start getting tired midday because it's so hot. You see a little bit of what you're describing, but man, not to the scale that you're describing. Unless it's one of those like weird not my day, but like, one of those weird like $99 days or whatever that attracts
no,
like
God, yeah,
the woodwork. Everybody comes out of the woodwork for those, right?
yeah.
So you have like
I love that.
150 people that track. You make no money and nobody has a good time because it's like every session's a red flag multiple times.
We get a lot of those too, and that's another thing. I don't remember us at track days and anything else having a lot of red flags and a lot of like helicopter life lights and ambulance runs.
Yeah,
We've had a lot in the last 3 years and a few unfortunate, deaths. And
shit.
I don't know what the difference is, Dustin, but it's, I mean, there's a lot of
Look,
red flags.
every event has that kind of stuff. I mean, we had the ambulance roll at the last event. The guy that got run over after the guy knocked Gil down.
Yeah.
But it's pretty rare to see the ambulance roll. It's a bummer when you see it, but when you see the ambulance roll, usually you're like, the dude's gonna be all right. Like
Yeah.
it's when they land a helicopter and it takes a long time. When you're like, whoa, the mood in the pits just like totally changes immediately.
Yeah. I just raced this weekend, Memorial Day at Summit and
Yeah.
Summit Motorsports, Summit Point, we call it here, Summit Point. It's a great little 2 mile track. It's kind of got like a streets of Willow feel to it. And, it was a pretty good session or a pretty good weekend and everything like that, the ambulance roll. But man, let me tell you, there's some pipe hitters on this East Coast, man. There
Could
is
you
some like,
what you said a pipe hitter?
yeah, it's a military vernacular, man. There's
So
there's
yeah,
some
you're
fast dudes, man.
pipe hitters. That's what you call
Yeah,
fast
pipe
dudes.
hitters. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like my definition of pipe hitter is something else. Okay? Like
Yeah,
clearly,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I get it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
but there's some I mean, and it's funny because I started with this Twins Cup thing, now going on my third year and it's totally changed into like this mini like old Daytona sport bike kind of group and
Oh yeah.
these
Dude,
kids and I can say that.
everybody knows the twins class is like the fucking nuclear arms race class, right? Like y'all are man, it's like, okay, yeah. I got an R7. It's a budget bike, right? And then you find out you have a $30,000 budget bike.
And you know who built mine
I
and
know
he is
exactly who
amazing.
built yours.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
but you
Big
know
shout
what?
out to
Like,
Bryce.
okay, so before I like dive into that, like, let's talk about what you raced originally. I know you had some hunk
Okay,
of shit Suzuki, right?
I
First,
did.
and then you came to your senses. You got an R6, and then what did you start out at WSMC or did you?
Yeah, I did. So first year, I was a dirt guy, big dirt guy, and then and I came from the East Coast. My dad was like, "Hey, you should try this road racing thing." No, 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 I'm not gonna like it, dude. The first track day, I had a Gixxer 600, dude. It was like needle in the vein, man. And I went with what was comfortable. I bought a Jitzer 600, and I was just trying to learn my ways. I don't care to tell anybody. My first couple track days, I wore the toes right off my freaking boots, not knowing what I was doing. It didn't have any training. And then I kind of progressed kind of quickly there with I guess now, 11 was the last year of WSMC.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
that club was so good. And what's crazy is even now, like that club's been gone for since the end of 2011, right?
yeah,
So, like, but even now, the sport of road racing is still affected by this amazing club that's now gone, you know? WSMC, so many of us have our roots there. So many of us have that like crazy Danny Farnsworth new racers instructor story. You know, you didn't get it. You probably had Thad
no,
Wolf, right?
I had
Um,
that.
yeah, but you know, when WSMC, it was just, you know, it was a little. You had a little bit of redneckery going on, right? Like you had the dragon ladies in the office, but organizationally, like the place was fucking spot on by the numbers. You know, it was a little old school, obviously, so it didn't have qualifying and it didn't have like amateur racing. It had novice races where you would do like
hmm
you probably sat around to the end of the day to get your one race in, right?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the very beginning, we were out there watching Scott Artillery and all those
Yeah.
guys just beat up on us, man. Like in all the classes, it was crazy because I mean that was 2010 and 11,
Yeah.
and dude, it was just crazy. But like I had to go find a home because like everybody said at the end of that season, they're like, oh, well, we're not doing it, and then that whole what is that motor yard or whatever took
Yeah.
over, and I did some of that with Greg Nolman, I think that dude's name was.
Dude, that guy's been gone for years. Like, you know, I think they did their little series for a year and a half or something, and then it just fizzled.
Yeah,
And, you know, I mean, I don't remember exactly, but I think people were saying they didn't get their awards, they didn't get their check, they didn't get anything. And
no.
that's a bummer, you know? Um,
Yeah, it's tough because that's what you and I were talking about offline was like, man, I'd love to get another group in there to take over and raid there, but I don't know if the Hoos are going to let that ever happen because they probably make so much money off of all the commercials and TV movies
yeah.
and shit.
Well, they're certainly not
But
going to do anything with me. That's for sure, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, because I'm
that's,
such a threat to business, you know?
oh yeah, of course you are.
Jeez. But yeah, the family that runs Willow Springs, you know, they don't seem to have much interest in motorbikes. Cars are apparently so much easier to work with. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know the specifics of it, but also the aside from the streets, Willow, the old track, the big track is just I don't know, man. Like the surface is so shit, you know. I mean, and honestly, most of their infrastructure around is pretty
hmm
old, like decrepit, withering away kind of thing. I mean, it looks like the makings of a ghost town, you know, but somehow they make it look pretty for the movie and, you know, the Ford versus Ferrari thing, right?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. The Ford versus Ferrari. We
Yeah.
have that here. There's a couple tracks here, Nelson Ledges. It's on the down. I mean, they've tried to do some things to fix it. It's a little short track. And then Mid Ohio. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that track. I've raced it. It's epic. But so they did that resurface in like I think there was 13 or 14, and it's slicker than shit
Oh,
when
Nelson?
no, Mid Ohio when
Oh.
there's not 90 degrees and sun on it, so it's miserable. But
Oh, wow.
hey, I left up to FSMC, and here's the funny story. So I go to my first CVMA event, my first track days there, and I pull up to the gate, and there's like 10 of us in line. Yep,
You're
yep.
going there.
I'm going there, dude. I'm going there.
Yes.
So I'm a Marine. I follow orders. I tried to assess what was going on, and we're all sitting outside the gate, and the gate was closed and locked. And I think it was I can't think. I don't know if it was LGB. I think he was a part of this. So
Yeah.
I am calling him out. and the rest of the track day staff. And they're like, well, how are we going to get in? We need to get in. We're the
I
track day
wasn't
staff.
there, first of all. I wasn't
No,
there.
you were, I think you
I
were
was already
inside
in.
already.
I was already inside. Just to back up this story, because I know where you're going with this.
Yep.
In the early days of the Chuckwalla thing, the gate actually closed. And so, like 9 o'clock, man, if you weren't in the gate by 9 o'clock, they fucking locked the gates and you were done, right? And so I remember that being like quite the point of contention, to where, if, people would stress out on Thursday to try to make it there by 9, and they're leaving LA at 5 or whatever, and they would just miss the gate and they'd be stuck outside the gate till morning and go.
And well, and everybody on the East Coast that's going to listen to this, dude, there's nothing around Chuckwalla. Like, guys, there's nothing. Like, it's 45 minutes in the middle of 45 minutes of nowhere. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere. So you're stuck. So we have this bright idea. The track day staff and I were like, well, dude, we could just pull these things off the hinges, go in, sneak in, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, we'll let you in since you're helping us. Well, dude, we get the gate off the hinges. We pull in, we park. And about this time, some big burly dude comes just screaming, yelling at me up and down. Ends up being Mickey.
Yeah.
And he's cussing at all of us and screaming us, and you're banned for life.
Yeah,
And
yeah, bro. Like I got woken up at like 2 a.m. for that. Like I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. When I go out there and I'm like, what the fuck now? And I mean,
yep,
every month it was something stupid like that. Now I guess there's somebody there overnight, and it's
yeah,
been like that for a long time now. But in the first couple years, it was like a big time point of contention with the ridership. Like, bro, why aren't we allowed to camp and roll in at any time over the night? And so it took them a while to
yeah,
wake up and figure out that that wasn't the best course of action, locking the gate. But you guys, like you and LGB sitting there on the curb, like, fuck, man, I'm sorry, D. Like, you guys didn't want to piss in my Cheerios. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if he's mad, like, he'll get over it. Like, whatever. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like, do you remember when was it Kevin Arion was the Dunlop guy?
yeah,
And he drove his Freightliner rig thing through the gate? Because he's like, oh,
yep.
look, there's lights over there. Boom. Like, right.
Drives right through it. Yeah, drove
Yeah.
right through it. I think he chewed us until the sun came up, and then he let me stay, and that was kind of my introduction to CVMA. And I'm like, oh my god! But dude, my first time there, I did 1 year as a novice there,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, dude, your bike is shit. Your bike is shit. Your
Oh,
bike
your
is shit.
Suzuki?
Yeah, my Suzuki was shit. Well, I ended up going
And it
on a
was ugly.
deployment.
I'm gonna mention it was ugly too. Like it was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
only
it was.
shit, but it was ugly.
It was very ugly.
Wasn't it like
So
like some Caltrans orange and like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was you? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, it
I had
was
this
ugly.
junk. I had this cycle salvage named Cycle Pirates as a sponsor, and he was really helpful, dude. Like I got a bunch of like crap parts for it, and he would just let me throw it on my bike. But it had to be Cycle Pirates, and I had that bright orange.
The bright orange
Well,
leathers, the
it's
cycle
right back
yeah,
there. Yeah,
dude.
right there.
Yeah. I remember
And
I remember the suit too.
yeah, yeah, the suit's in the basement right now. But
Uh-huh.
so I went on deployment and had some deployment money because we make a little bit more money on deployment, and I bought Tommy Aquino's old Grays R6.
Oh shit. Okay. No
Dude,
wonder. Yeah.
yup,
Now
yup.
it
Now
all
he,
makes sense.
yeah, so I got out on that thing, and you and Ryan Whitman and Zader and Short and Benny Solis was there. Dude, you guys were just like yarding most of us. I mean, it was your pack and then all of us in the back getting chumped. Um, and then me it was like me, Austin Harness, and other
Oh
guys.
yeah, Austin Harness. That's right.
Yeah,
That was that
yeah,
kid from Arizona or whatever, right? Like
yeah. It's
Tucson or
another
something?
Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought the R6, and dude, I went 3 seconds faster in one weekend. And it was like, well, everybody was like, I told you so, I told you so. But I
Yeah.
will say this, man, like I got hooked up with this program called Semper Ride, and I know you know it.
Oh yeah, Tilton's.
Yeah, Tilt.
Jeff Tilton, right?
Yeah, and I got to work with them a lot, and obviously Jason Prittmore, the list of of support riders there. It goes on and on. Jake was out there. James Rispoli was out there. These all, as I call them, pipe hitters. These fast guys that are out
Pipe
there,
hitters.
and I'm just soaking this all in. I'm out there helping like the liaison between like the Marine Corps and um, the riders, and just kind of being the unofficial guy that helps Prip more. Well, dude, I was out there in August when everybody else wasn't riding Chuckwalla, and I got pretty quick, as relative. And I came out there, and I remember Whitman was like, "Oh yeah, I'm kicking your ass this year," and I'm like, "No, you're not,
Yeah,
buddy."
cool story, asshole. Like
And I showed
I
up.
remember some of those races. I had the R6 back then, and
Yep.
I remember those races. I mean, you never beat me, so I do remember that. But I do remember like having mad shit talk sessions in my pit with you guys after. It was like I think we
Yeah,
have some of it on video, but it's
dude,
like,
we
man,
do. And I was so close to passing you, but you had the lines, and I couldn't get around you, man. It
yeah,
was so fun. But it was like, dude, it was a mutual, like, it was a boxing match that we didn't mind leaning on each other, and
oh yeah,
the trust was there. Like, I could lean on you, you could lean on me. Whitman,
yeah.
I beat the shit out of Whitman. He can jump on here and say whatever he wants, but
Whatever, dude. He's like Whitman's actually not racing anymore. I don't know if you've heard about this, but dude, Whitman,
Pulsar Motorsports.
dude, Ryan Whitman is like married with children now. Like he's not really racing anymore, and he works. He's like an ops guy for the Yamaha Champions School. So he's the guy that
Oh,
shows up and makes sure that all the school bikes are full
awesome.
gas and wiped down and stuff. Dude, he's a huge help in the program over there. And when I go there and work, he like writes my bikes, the FC10 two-up sled or whatever. He writes that on a piece of duct tape, and he's like, "Put your bike there, and it'll be full of gas every time." I'm like, "Hey, could you like adjust the chain, that kind of shit?" And he'll do it, man. Like the dude's a
What a
goddamn.
champion.
He's a champion, dude. Like but you
I
see,
loved
like,
fighting with him.
yeah, I mean, I think he's like his non-motorbike time now is like he's got an off-road Suzuki Samurai now, which is hilarious. So
Oh man.
like a legit like three-cylinder or climb anything kind of you know shit box basically for the desert. That's what he's
Yeah,
doing.
it's funny because I remember all those days, and I don't know if you've talked about it in previous podcasts because I've watched a lot of them. But dude, I just remember the camaraderie, dude. And
Yeah.
like, was it Gil that did the throwdown barbecues at night
Oh,
where we
that
watched
was
the
not
UFC
Gil. That
fights?
was Brown Man.
A Brown Man,
Brown
yeah,
Man and
dude,
Anton. Yeah, the team low budget barbecue. Yeah.
yeah. But dude, that shit was on point, man.
Yeah.
We would have some wild freaking, just events later that evening and shit, man. It was
Yeah, do you
awesome.
remember
But
projecting when Pridmore still had that semi truck trailer out there? We were projecting the races or the MMA fights onto the side of his semi.
oh my God, yeah,
Remember
dude, we
that?
had
Yeah.
so much fun doing that shit,
And the
man.
partying would like partying at CVMA would always get like super out of hand. The pranks would get out of hand. Do you remember the pranks?
Oh yeah, a lot of the pranks, people stealing people's pit bikes and putting them on top of trailers, putting toilet paper in various places of people's
Caution tape.
campers. So,
Caution
and
tape.
oh yeah, wrapping people's
Taking people's
motorcycles
bike
up and
out to
shit.
the runway, right?
Oh God, yeah, I remember that too. That never
I,
happened to me.
dude, my bike ended up in the executive suite in the shitter. Like, you know? And Attack put it there. Like,
Oh,
yeah, there's
Richard
a
did?
picture of Yosef sitting on it. He's like, "Hey, anybody got any
Oh,
toilet paper?" Like, and he's sitting there, and my bike's sitting there. Like, come on,
oh
dude.
God, dude.
Yeah.
Those days were epic, man. Like I miss those days. It's funny. I went back there and did some Pripmore training over the winter, and it's crazy how much it's built up with the airport hangars and the paddock extension, and it become a mecca in the winter for that stuff. But
Dude, that
you
place has
know,
come a long way since the old doo-doo mountain days. Right?
since the old Doodoo Mountain days, man, it's crazy, dude. And it, it's funny. So I raced a lot there with you guys with CBMA, and we had some epic battles.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I remember finally getting up to the front two rows of the grid and looking
Yeah.
over to the left and right. It was, it was always some Moto America guy there just kicking the shit out of us in the
Yeah.
wintertime.
Benny, typically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, typically Benny
It was
Solis.
always Benny Solis just ruining us.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
great.
see, that was when Jake was riding for Road Race Factory,
That's
and
right.
I would,
And JD Beach came out too.
yep,
Yep.
and JD Beach had come out, and oh my God, dude, I would do some like other military events with Danny Walker Super Camp, and like just watching Jake and JD like slide around on these little 110s. It's like, how the hell are they doing this on
Yeah.
this bike? And now look at Jake. Obviously, it all
Oh,
come to
dude, the
fruition.
guy, the guy is a fucking stud, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I feel sorry for everybody that has to race him this weekend at Road America. You know,
Well, dude, I think they're in for a gunfight, bro. I
yeah,
mean, that
we'll see.
BMW and that dude, that BMW and that Ducati is going to have something to say.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely got the beans down the straights for sure. You know,
Oh yeah. Well, if and I don't know what happened because I'm just a dumb squid freaking club racer, but dude, I watch Barber and watch Heron get yucked all over the place on that Ducati. Like he's an animal for being able to ride that bike like that. That
yeah.
thing was just
Oh,
moving and
the
grooving underneath
Ducati
him.
wiggle, like
Yeah,
holy
dude,
shit.
just all over the place.
Hopefully they figure out whatever the fuck that was, because goddamn, dude, like it was wearing me out just watching it. I was like, wow, dude. I don't even like that
It's,
dude, but like, man, I wouldn't trade places with him either, because that looked
that
fucking gnarly. Like,
yeah, that thing was epic, man.
yeah.
So,
I'm actually
um,
being asked, like, whatever happened to Benny Solis? You know what? And I have a few more comments too, so I'm just gonna
yeah,
jump in with those. But yeah, whatever happened to Benny Solis? So I want to say it was 2018. He was over in Spain doing the Spanish Moto 2 thing, CEV or whatever. And I don't know exactly what happened, but for whatever reason, like he was injured or something, his knee, I don't know, but like I guess he had kind of a falling out with his team and was done racing after that. And he basically just pushed away. Like I've reached out to him, I've invited him out to the track a couple times, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's ready to come back and go all in again, I mean, he did it for his whole childhood and basically early 20s, so he's probably done, I'm guessing. Like I heard that
yeah.
I heard he's in the weed business now. Like he's got a dispensary or something or a I don't know, something.
Is he in LA or is he in the area?
It's like the valley somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I know he lived in North Hollywood. I don't know if that's where he still is, but he was. I don't know if that's true. I just heard that he's like a legit like dispensary guy now somehow.
Yeah, and the other fast guy was Brian Short, and he's like some bigwig attorney now or something. I see his Facebook posting all the time, like he's driving Ferraris and living in La Jolla, man. Like, dude,
Yeah, I don't really talk to that guy anymore.
I mean,
I'll
I
just
don't
leave
talk
it
to
at
him
that.
either, but yeah, I got you.
Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, let's put it this way. I talk to a lot of people. I choose the people I interact with.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
I,
leave it
I
at
think
that.
and that's funny. It goes full circle, like Bryce Prince. Like, that's why I bought one of his bikes because I mean, you've known him forever, and I've known him for a long
Yeah,
time too. And the dude is a solid and builds just an
dude,
amazing
he's
bike, man.
he's got himself set up pretty well over there in Bakersfield. But yeah, I mean, I've known Bryce since he was all helmet, little guy, like 14, right? So,
Yep.
watching him come up, I bought him suits and stuff. Like we didn't really have any money to give him, but I hooked him up with suits and track time and stuff early on in his riding, and he we kind of like I think my last way to help him was setting up like a fundraiser thing for his Red Bull Rookie Series
Yeah.
thing. Um, and that was about it. It's like, okay, kid, you're pro now. Fucking see ya. On to the next kid, right? But Bryce, he's a grown ass man. He's homeowner, business owner, owns a Yamaha dealer now. Like the
Yep.
guy's, and when you were being Captain Wishy Washy over there with like what bike to build or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, what were you calling me like every other day? Like, hey, bro, I've got this deal. And they're like, that's it. I'm riding Cowie's CX10s now. I'm like, you sure about that, bro?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I originally wanted to stay like the Twins platform, and I started out like everybody else. I started on third gen SV, and it was great for what it was. But when I started right as the
Do you still
sevens
have
came
them?
out, I do have one. Yeah, but
Spare
so
bike.
long story short, no, it's my crew chief's bike, and
Okay.
it was his road to, he dropped 100 pounds and wanted to start
Okay.
riding. So that's his bike now, and I give that to him to ride.
Okay.
So, big shout out to Matt for losing all that weight. And racing changed his life. I
Oh, dude.
mean, yeah, so
It's so
it's
good,
made
isn't
him,
it?
oh, yeah, it's amazing. So, like, I kept kicking around what to ride and what to ride, and I'm still kicking around, the twin and whatnot, but um, I love the hell out of it, man. That little R7 is just an amazing little platform.
Yeah, you asked me like, "Hey man, what do you think of the R7?" I'm like, "Bro, like if I told you how fast Bryce just went on one at Button Willow, you'd shit your pants." And you're like, "Get out of here." I think he did like a 50 or a
Yeah,
51 or something
something
crazy.
crazy, dude.
Like dudes on 600s can't even do that sometimes. Fuck, dudes on thousands can't even do that sometimes.
And that's the bike I'm riding. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Oh
the
yeah,
bike
I
I'm
know.
riding.
I know you painted it. You got rid of the
The BPR
the
logos.
BPR the decals everywhere, right? But
Well, I mean, it's on there, but I didn't want to, and I'll just say it. I didn't want to be. Um, I'm so far away, and Bryce. Let me just say, dude, he is hella supportive, as they
yeah.
say in NorCal. He is bent over backwards to help me to get me parts to do everything. So I will always run his logos on my bike. But I've got my own team and things that I'm trying to accomplish eventually in the long run. Um, but I mean, he's got like and I don't want to equate him to AP, but like he's got a big following like Palmer did back in the day with the SVs.
Oh yeah, except he like uses a torque wrench.
Yes, and builds
Shit, I said that
good
out
bikes.
loud, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But yeah, so yeah, I've been riding the R7 for almost a full year now, and it's fast. Like you, I've dropped weight, pedaling and whatnot, trying to just. But I'm getting killed by these kids, man. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
we were out at a track day 3 weeks ago, and Kayla was out there with her stock R7,
Dude, don't
and
even
dude,
get me fucking started.
just gone up and down. You'd never rode it, but up and down, like 4, 5, and 6, and she's just gone. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how is she doing that?
Yeah.
She's
Because
super
she's a
talented.
fucking professional and we're
Yep,
hobbyists, you know?
yep,
That's the
yeah,
reality.
exactly,
But
yeah,
she did that to
exactly.
you on an R7 and she did that to me while I was riding the Broham. So,
Oh
yeah.
God,
Yeah.
at Button
Yeah.
Willow.
Yeah, dude, she just like I was having a bad time. Like it was like basically first weekend back, after months of trying to recover from
Yep,
that. That's
yep.
not good, right? So, I mean, I couldn't ride how I wanted. I still can't, but I'm better. Like it's a lot better now. Um, Shedding a bunch of weight helps, but and putting all those hours in the torture chamber right
Yeah,
on that thing, you know,
absolutely.
um, totally helps with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was frustrating, dude. I'm like sitting there like trying to make the thing work, and Kayla Yakov's just ruining everybody on the fucking 700, whatever.
Dude,
So,
she is super humble, super articulate. Like
oh,
it's
dude,
crazy. Like listening to her on the podcast or the live stream and shit.
dude,
She's amazing, man.
crazy. Like, I'll give you one. Like, I was standing in the garage at Portimao, and it's me, Jake, and her. And they're going back and forth about this little crack and that little bump and whatever. Dude, I was sitting there like, man, this kid is so switched on, you know?
Yep.
Like her race IQ is just fucking through the roof, genius level. So, that's why when she's healthy, man, everybody she's racing against is in big trouble, I think.
I agree.
So,
As long as they can get the races ran the right way and work through the problems they had at Barber and whatnot. That was unfortunate, and I know they're doing everything they can to work through those growing pains, but that was pretty crappy. Unfortunately, some of the, I guess everybody was pretty upset about some of the ruling and whatnot, but there's two sides to every story.
Which ruling?
About the Gus Rodeo thing and like the
Oh,
red flags
yeah.
and
I
Rocco
mean,
throwing
look,
his hand in the air.
I've gone through extensive detail on that on previous episodes of this show.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't like bringing up old shit that we've already gone through,
beating a
but
dead
yeah, I mean,
horse.
it's like everybody left that situation a little fucked, right? Because you know, you look at it on the surface, Gus and his program, they got fucked, right? But then you look at it and Moto America kind of got fucked too because there was comms things and a couple guys didn't make it through. So um, you know at some point somebody's going to leave unhappy, and that's unfortunate. But I'm not going to sit there and shit on the series because I think they've done a pretty
No,
good job there, number one. And then number two, they've outlined steps where they're going to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again in the future. And that's all you can really ask for because at the end, everybody is human. No matter how amazing you think you are, you're still capable of fucking up every now and then. So,
exactly, man. I mean, it's funny because, like, obviously, I live so close to Pittsburgh, so I'm at that event every year, and I don't care to tell anybody, especially the podcast, man. I stupidly tried to qualify for MA on a bike that I brought out of a box the week prior,
everybody
and
knew and everybody saw. They're like, "What's Randy doing?"
dude, I was here, I was healthy, I had the things in place that I needed, other than the most important thing, which was enough track time and understanding, and it was just like, fuck it, I'm going for it.
The bike's quite a
But
bit different than the SP then, I take it.
yeah, it was 100%. I'm still trying to understand the R7. Um, I don't even think I'm going to try this year. I've told myself until I can get into the flat, probably 52s here at Pittsburgh, because of that kink, because that totally mind fucks everybody that doesn't ride it every day. It's such an animal here. I know they were doing some work on it. Josh Hayes, Nicole Cox, and I think somebody else was here during N2 trying to solve the solution of making it safer, which was great. Yeah, I think everybody uh, really enjoys that they're trying to fix that kink.
Yeah.
Um, but I tried, man. I tried, and I missed, and I'll give it another hellish swing in maybe a year or two. Um, but my goal is eventually building up um, a younger rider. I've got a kid on a 400. He's 27. He's in his third year. He won his first race at Summit, and I'm just going to keep working with the kid and maybe throw him on a twin next year, and then just hopefully eventually get him to the point where he can start doing it, and I can take a step back and just maybe do some club racing or continue to do club racing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you there. Like, I've been kind of helping out this kid. JJ Suspension Matters dude is out here,
Yep.
and he's been working with this kid that he rides a Cali. So I keep, I'm like, kid, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, you're gonna get a Yamaha, like, do it right. So, but everybody makes mistakes first, so like whatever. But the kid's, he's pretty good, dude. He's young, talented, pretty chill. So I try to help that kid a little bit. But it'd be pretty cool to see him progress, in the sport. The biggest thing with kids like that is I want to see the ability to find some longevity in the sport too, because the reality is everybody's like what up and down in 3 years, right? So
Yep. 3 years, 3 to 5 years.
yeah, not everybody is gluttons for punishment like us, yeah. So
We're the old hats now, Dustin. I mean, you
bro,
think about it. We've been doing this a long time, and
you're
I even took.
still the newbie compared to me, bro.
I know, man, but I'm
It's like
old. I'm
25 years
40.
now, basically. So
Yep,
yeah,
15. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah. It's
crazy.
crazy, but yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I was saying in the beginning, it was like this. There's a different mentality and there's different, you know, vibe here on the East Coast. So, and getting used to you know what the biggest fucker for me was getting used to, like, I
Trees,
didn't ride
having trees,
trees, tr green grass, like when you go off the track, because
like
I've
dude,
got a
like
plate
in
and 13
Jersey,
screws.
the the guardrail basically like around. I'm like, wow, you know,
Yeah, dude.
what's going
Yeah.
on? Or like at
And then,
we went to the Ridge and dude, you go into that turn 1, 2 complex and there's like trees right there, and I'm like, wow, dude. And if you fuck up that turn 3 thing, you could end up in the trees on the other side over there. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of like I'm a desert rat, dude. There's no trees. Like, well, at Chuckwalla there was
yeah,
that one like Joshua tree that you kind of
yeah,
line up with, but other than that, it was like it's weird having scenery, right?
yeah. And then, like all the East Coast guys, they'll tell you, man, you go to Mid Ohio and you watch the old days and you're like, you're just spacing out. You're like, yes, I get to ride the tracks that like Matt Mladen and everybody rode. Then you realize, oh shit, this shit's fucking dangerous. The
Yeah.
last sector going down the little straight chute, you stick your elbow out and there's the wall. You're touching the wall if you want to. So it's like
Yeah, no.
trying to get used to that.
Yeah, I'm good with
It's crazy.
not. Bearded Jixer said he's got a couple of questions, but he says, "Oh yeah, being on the East Coast, like it's like you got to get used to having an ambulance on a hot track." Like, wow, bro. Like, I
Oh,
mean, that was that thing at Roebling, right? Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
had a pretty good chat with Aaron Dearborn about that, but another club racer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Southern guy, but also former Marine, oddly enough.
Oh, okay.
It's like a thing with you guys, with you Marines.
We're
Like you got to
uh,
just have some shit to do to like try to kill yourself, basically, right? When
yeah,
people
yep.
stop shooting at
Adrenaline
you, you
junkies.
take up motorbikes. Is that what happens?
Hey, man, whatever works, it works for me, man.
Yeah,
Motorcycle racing, honestly, has saved my life.
yeah.
Yep,
All right.
100%,
So
man.
the other question that he had was, what are your thoughts on the new Dunlops? Have you tried them or?
That's a great question, dude. I'm on them right now. Yep,
And
I love
go.
them, dude.
Like you want to be
So,
specific or?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
So, I
heard
got a
that.
great guy.
Let me tell you. I'm a Pirelli guy
Sure,
first of all. So,
sure.
dude,
Go ahead.
and by a Pirelli guy, I mean that Pirelli supports every two-wheeled adventure that I'm up against now. Like they even hooked me up with bicycle tires, dude. Like Pirelli is
Okay.
awesome. And from what I hear with the new Dunlops is that they tried to basically clone the Pirelli. So do you want to elaborate on that or?
Yeah, because as you know, I rode Pirelli back in the day with you. So I have a lot of experience on Pirellis. And so I was riding the old four, the old, the 129s and the 097s, all the old Dunlops. And they scared the fuck out of me because they tip in so quick and they fall so fast. And you really got to push them. Well, I'm on the new R5s, as they call them now.
Yeah.
I think I'm running an R3 and an R5, and I run them at Summit and Pittsburgh. Dude, they have such a great improvement in feel and characteristic, and they do. They feel like a Pirelli a little bit more, but they are an amazing tire, man. Like, I didn't think there was going to be that much of a difference until I put a pair on my bike for
A
my
difference
first track
from
day.
the previous Dunnies to the current
Yes,
Dunnies. Okay.
yes. At least at my dumb club racer level, dude, they're night and day. They give me so much more confidence on the front end feel. Um, you know, I think I got another second out of myself just by having the confidence in those new tires. And I haven't even went to the R7 yet, so I've only tried the 3 and the 5. But man, I mean, to me, Dunlop's really knocked it out of the park, and they're just up the hill in Buffalo. I mean, I live 5 hours from the facility, so we get the freshies. I'd like to think, man, and
You'd
it's
like to think.
yeah, I'd like to think, but they do. They have good born on dates, being on this side of the coast, man. But dude, the Dunnies are sick, man. I know a lot of people run them here, but we have a lot of support. I sometimes feel like we have a little bit more support than we did out west as far as tires and stuff like that.
Hmm. Well, I
But
mean,
different generations.
yeah, I mean, out here is where most of the industry still kind of is, right? So,
Yeah.
obviously Pirelli is in Georgia. By the way, the bicycle division's in Minnesota. right? But yeah, for the motorbike stuff, most of the industry's out here. So,
Yeah.
you know, we get to try the new Pirellis when, whenever I'm directed to. But everything, oh, like Attack is a couple hours from here, right?
Right.
So, actually, Attack's in like Sheboygan or whatever right now, right? So,
Elkhart Lake. Yeah.
yep, yep. So I
Yeah.
think they
Except for
flew to
Joseph.
Sheboygan, right?
Yeah. Except for Joseph, who's built my R7 rear sets right now.
Oh yeah,
Big shout out to him. Yeah. The rear sets I have right now, they're great. They're amazing, but they're just too, they keep me too packed on the bike. So
yeah.
we tried.
Yeah, Bryce builds all his bikes with that brand of stuff, and
Hmm.
you know, if you like that stuff, it's okay. But you know, you could just sell that stuff and buy good stuff,
I
the
need,
best stuff, arguably.
well, I'm buying Attack because that's all I've known.
Well, yeah,
Uh, I mean, that's all I had on my
because that's
R6.
what you do,
So
right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I tried drop pegs and I did all this fancy shit and dude, I just Joseph's like, "Oh, dude, we'll just do a half mill back and when we mill it." And it's like, dude, no brainer, no brainer. But
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy, man, how much support you get out of Joseph with all that attack stuff, man. It's just awesome.
yeah. I mean, shit. If you were here, he'd probably put it on for you too, right?
Probably, probably.
Yeah,
We used to race together, so
yeah. Like that's right. Yosef used to race for a minute
yeah.
until he like I think he broke. I think he crashed his bike, and it looked like a little kid spilt a box of Legos, right? Like the
Dude,
Cowie ZX10 thing that he was racing.
bro,
I
I
mean, it
had
was like a
kids.
yard sale. It was like, oh look, a battery. Like, oh look, a
I had a bunch of
75
kids.
75 piece subframe.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of kids at CVMA that I brought with me that were, yellow plate guys and just getting started, and they'd crash 4 or 5 times in a weekend. It's like, dude, we can't put this thing back together. Stop crashing.
Yeah,
My one buddy goes off turn one going counterclockwise. He pops up like a meerkat. He's fine, but the bike's in like 60 million pieces.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, have you ever written one off yourself?
No, not yet.
Lucky, like
Not yet.
who's written off two R1s?
Yeah, well, yeah, not me, man. I don't even want to know. I'm not even going to ask you what that felt like because that's like losing a kidney as far as a
I mean,
cost.
I was less than stoked. Let's just say
Uh,
it.
well, I was out there, and it's funny, you go back to that again. I was out there when Richard was um, testing that one-off GP bike
Oh,
with,
the CRT bike, yeah.
yeah, with Blake Young. Was it Blake Young?
Yeah, the cheesehead, yeah.
Yeah, Blake Young. I've never been so scared shitless on a racetrack in all my life, man.
Really?
That dude, that bike came around me and it was so loud and it sounded like it wanted to eat me. And he just backed it into like one of the double apexes. And dude, he was like fucking checked out.
You know what's
And I'm like,
crazy? Like, I remember that bike. And you know what, really quick, 848 Evo is asking me what a good Pirelli for track days is. I would say ask your local tire guy, dude. Like, I mean, we put Pirellis on my fleet of bikes.
mm-hmm,
Typically for the track day stuff, we try to do like SC2, SC3 stuff for that because it lasts a long time and try to get Pirelli's money's worth out of helping us. So
right.
we don't want to burn up, SC1s or whatever just so we can kind of have grip for a little bit. Like we have to go out and we'd have to ride all day for 2 days or 3 days, right? So, we run the harder stuff, but we get a lot of life out of them. And quite frankly, at a track day pace, we can still outride most of the A group with that on a stock R1, a stock, any Yamaha really that we have.
Yeah, and it's a little bit different. I mean, and some of the other club racers and like, Stefano, who's raced pretty much everywhere and he'll race anything, but the surfaces are a little different here too, especially like I know you talk to all the boys and stuff, but there's all these blind corners and all this up and down and undulation. And that's another thing that like the first time I rode Pittsburgh, it was like, okay, I cannot see where this fucking track goes. Where the fuck am I going? So I had to like pull like a control rider. I know you don't like that word, Dustin, but I had to pull a staffer and have them drag me around, man, because it was so foreign to me because I was so used to Button Willow and Chuck Walla.
Yeah.
Um, because
I
I never
love
really
going and
rode.
learning new tracks, you know? Like,
I'm trying to scumbag your ass into coming out here and riding.
dude, I want to come out there and ride, but fuck, dude, I want to ride my own bike, and I'd have to figure out a way to get it out there because I don't got the time to drive it out there. It's far, bro. It's far.
Yeah, 2,500 miles, man.
Yeah, dude, like that's a lot, man. That's 5 grand miles round trip.
I
Like that's
know.
a, if I could figure out a way to hitch a ride, my bike hitch a ride with the team or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's funny because now with the new schedule change, it's just basically Pittsburgh and Jersey, and the season's over
Oh, for
because obviously
Stock 1000?
yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Stock 1000 was like 5 rounds and that was it, right? So
yeah,
I'm
it's
not
totally
worried about
different.
that. I'm not a national guy. I don't want to be a national guy. Never. I'm a
No,
club
I
guy.
know.
We're grassroots scumbag with honor, right?
With honor, with
Yeah.
honor. Have,
But
have you came up with any new T-shirts yet?
you know what? I mean, we just did the Talkin Motorbikes T-shirt, so we're gonna see how that does first. But yeah, I mean, I'm down to make all kinds of silly shit T-shirts. So we'll see how it goes.
What?
Maybe it'll be.
Yeah,
Would you say it was piped something? What?
pipe hitters.
Pipe hitters.
Yeah,
Yeah, might have
it's
to use
yeah.
that.
Ask Marcus; he'll be able to tell you. And funny, we go back to those days. Yeah, I think I was listening to one of your podcasts. I'm gonna scumbag Marcus real quick
Oh shit.
because he hung me out to dry. So you guys did those 1 hour endurance rallies or those 1 hour like team
Oh, the
challenges.
tag team challenge thing. What did Marcus do?
So this scumbag says, "Oh yeah, let's
Ooh,
do this
wait.
together."
Okay, so really quick, Marcus Jackson is a relitter out here in SoCal, and he's one of the track day staff guys. He's got multiple bikes from us. He's R7. He's got the MT-09 SP.
Yep.
I think he's got an R6 super sport bike. Like, he's kind of a wingnut with bikes, man. So what did he do to you?
So we all obviously raced together, and we were trying to get more track time. So he's like, "Hey man, let's do that team challenge, but we'll just do it on your bike." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool man, no problem." So
Was that on your
okay, so I'll
Suzuki?
no, it was on my
Okay.
R6
Okay. Good.
because we were both riding R6s, and
Okay.
he's like, "You do the first 30, and I'll anchor," and I'm like, "Okay, cool man." So they pull me in the pit board. I do my 30 minutes. I'm a little tired, and I'm drinking water. And my crew looks over and he's like, "Marcus is coming back in." I'm like, "He's only been out 3 fucking laps. This son of a bitch fucking comes in 3 laps. So we already paid for it." He's like, "I don't like your setup," or some shit like that. And he's like, I can't ride your bike." So I fucking zip my suit back up and jump back out and do pretty much the whole hour by myself. And he's like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. No big deal, asshole."
Dude, I did
So,
that. I did that at High Plains Raceway in 2010,
yeah.
and I was out there, and my teammate was my dad. And my dad on Friday in the practice day at High Plains, he got heat exhaustion. And so we
Mm,
had him, like, once you get heat exhaustion, you're fucked, right?
yep.
So no matter
Yep.
how you chase it, no matter how much better you feel the next morning, you're fucked, right?
Yep.
So, dude, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be good," like I feel great. But like that was before he broke a sweat. And so, and he's the first stint, right? So he goes and he makes it probably 20 minutes and he comes in and he's like, the exorcist, right? Just goes, heat exhausted, right? So I did like 3.5 hours of that 4 hour myself. Like,
Oh my God. Well,
yeah.
that's funny. I'll use your term. That's how I got. So I took 5 years off of racing. And by the way, we all share that similar pinky I seen on the other podcast. I did that the other day too.
Oh, nice.
Fuck it.
Nice.
It seems like a lot of
You
us
got the
have it,
thumb?
but no, I don't have the thumb. I just got the freaking Austin Powers
Well, you
pinky.
still
But
got time. You still got time.
Yeah, thanks. So I got scumbag back into racing by my dad. He went out and bought an R3 and he's like, "Oh, just do the 2-hour endurance race with me." And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, dude."
Yeah.
That was it, man. Right after that, I did the 2-hour and I was like, "Fuck it. I'm buying another bike." And I bought a 400 that I didn't even ride. I got
Really?
on it. I basically rode it one track and I was like, "Dude, nope, I can't do it." But um I sold it to the kid that I'm now coaching and
Oh,
mentoring, and he's
that's
he's
cool.
doing really well. He's racing all the 400 stuff, and then I bought an SV, and then now I'm on the R7. But dude, what's going on with that new RR, man? Because I'm sorry, that
Oh,
might be
the
the Yamaha
BMW thing?
killer.
Well,
No,
the
dude,
thing is,
the new 400.
oh, the Ninja 400 thing, dude, that might be the class killer. Like I've mentioned this a lot. That Ninja 400. I mean, that thing is like I'm so glad to be out of government. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, like that's just one of the fill in the blanks of 1,000 reasons not to be part of government anymore. But man, it seems so cool. But then you look at a lot of people are saying good things about that thing, right? They're like, oh, it's so fast, this and that. And I don't. You ever heard of Yami Noob? They're like a
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube. Yeah, Yami
yeah.
Noob had one on the dyno, and it was like womp womp womp. Like the thing made like 50 horsepower on the dyno. Like it was, you know.
That's what I'm hearing, but then I'm hearing other things out of other camps like Graves being
Yeah,
able to build
I'm
them.
hearing if they unlock the thing somehow, maybe there's something with the throttle bodies, I don't the emissions bullshit to pass Euro 5. If they can figure out a way to unlock that shit, they might be able to figure out how to make a thing go. And apparently Chuck's figured that out because he's had one for a while. But in stock trim, the thing's kind of a turd, like every other budget bike turd. You know,
So So with your ears to the ground, I mean, would that potentially get rid of the old school 400
I'm
and
guessing
the
so.
new
I
4?
mean, based on history of that particular class, the little bike class, every time Cowie comes out with some weird bike, when everybody's having 250s, they come out with a 300, right? And then Yamaha came out with the R3, and then Cowie's like, oh yeah, well we're gonna do a 400 now,
Well, just
and
get the
now they're
R1
doing
or
the
the
inline 400.
yeah. Well, get the R125 or the R25 from Europe and bring that over here. I mean, they want to be a Cali killer. That thing would be amazing over here.
I don't know. I mean, the reality is, it would be cool to see like a resurgence of the golden era of motorbikes, right? So like late 80s, early 90s was like people still today are like, oh, the FZR 400 is the best handling bike they've ever ridden. And I'm like, bro, that bike was old when I started racing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, even dude, actually, Chuck Graves' wife, um, when I first started racing, she was racing a FZR 400 at Willow.
Jesus.
Andrea, yeah,
Yeah.
she pitted
That's
right next to us,
crazy.
man. I mean, and I remember that because Gil was always pitted with us, and what happened?
Gil took her out.
Gil hit on her every time, right? He's
Oh,
like, "Hey,
yeah.
Andrea, how's it going?" You know? Yeah, I'm talking shit
Oh,
about
man.
Gil. Like, whatever.
Is he
Um,
he's still on the staff though, right?
yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's OG, man. He's not going anywhere. But
Yeah, it's
yeah. So that's yeah. It'd be cool to see that resurgence of multiple manufacturers coming out with cool little 400s that you could really rev to the moon, and not have the crazy power gap that some of the bikes have. Like the gap even for the twins bike. Ken Hill was talking about last night. From a ultra lightweight, R3 or a Ninja 400 currently, to even like your bike, the nuclear arms race twins class. That's a pretty hefty
yeah.
gap. But if there was a good handling baby 600, basically the 400, if it was like that, then maybe that
Basically.
gap wouldn't be so great. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's funny after watching some of these kids grow up and assimilate from like I mean like look at Kayla 400 to look at Rocco 400 to and
Yeah,
they just jump right to but these kids I mean they live eat breathe and sleep this shit
yeah,
and they're just jumping from bike to bike and it seems like it doesn't phase them but to us common club racers it might be more of a gap, but I don't know.
Well, the
I'm interested to
reality
see what.
is those guys, I mean, I know Rocco, for instance, I've known that kid his entire life, right? And, what a lot of people don't know about him is that dude, he was doing like, he's been racing since pocket bikes.
Yep.
That kid went and raced in Spain and stuff when he was younger. Like he's had some fierce competition, and he's had that kind of upbringing his entire life. And a lot of these kids that are at the pointy end, right? That like Rocco, um, they're all like that. They're all like, I mean, if you come out here any given weekend, you could see Rocco ripping around some club race, whether it be AFM, CVMA, whatever. But then also on non-race weekends, he'd be ripping around on the kart track at Apex. So
Yeah. Well, Kayla's got a track in her yard.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at
She's
all.
yeah, she's got a. But that's the one thing I was going to say
The
also
ten
about the East
thousand
Coast.
hours, right? The 10,000
Yeah.
hours could be great.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's the thing I like about the East Coast. I feel like, well, where I live here in Pittsburgh, I'm centrally located to a lot. I mean, I can get to Summit, I can get to Jersey, I can get to Mid Ohio, I can get to obviously Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
all within an easy day's drive. Where I mean, that's something that I really enjoy. And then, like
yeah.
for instance, Barber. I mean, Barber. Have you rode Barber?
No, man, I've been there, but haven't ridden there yet.
That
It's
track
on the
is
list, dude. It's on the
It's
list.
insane. Insane, man, how fun that track is. Especially on your monster. You're gonna be working.
Good, you know.
Yep.
I'm in pretty good shape right now. So
Yep.
hey, so
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna go back in history a little bit because I know that I'm
Sure.
pretty sure you were a hat, right?
I was a drill instructor, yes.
Yes. So uh, I was asked to ask you this, but I was gonna ask it to you anyway. But like, what's your craziest story of being a DI in the Marine Corps?
Well, I guess I'm out of the length of responsibility where I can tell stories.
Okay.
So I was, and I'll throw this out there. I was a drill instructor on Paris Island. Not, I wasn't a San Diego drill instructor. So there's a big difference between that. Um, I was a new drill instructor, and I took this kid probably all around every sand pit on Paris Island. I took this kid away for like 2.5 hours, which is a big no-no because it was my first time and I was trying to prove myself. And I ended up bringing this kid back. And the funny story is, in order not to get in trouble, the guy that I worked for made me go buy him cheeseburgers, and I gave this kid cheeseburgers from McDonald's to shut him up.
Okay. So you took him running?
I basically made him do a bunch of calisthenics and push-ups and pull-ups, and made him get in the sand and look like a sugar cookie and just
Sugar.
annihilate him.
Jesus,
Yeah, made him.
dude.
Yeah, it was not my finest moment. I definitely, but all of us Marines that listen to this or have heard this have done similar stuff. But yeah, that's probably my unproud moment, but the worst moment that I've ever done
So
to a recruit.
I'm being told that that's called a smoke session.
Yes, yes, that is a smoke session,
Okay.
100%.
That was Bearded Jixer. And then Irate Barry says he's late. How many push-ups does he have to do? Like,
Um, if he's late, he's not even allowed to join. He's already
oh,
done.
oh shit. Sorry, Barry. Yeah, dude. Like, what's crazy is, within my track day circle, it's like you and then Marcus Jackson that we shit on earlier. Uh, who else? Oh, Flat Bill Jason. Buckingham.
Was it wasn't
I don't.
Cowboy?
I don't know if Cowboy was a DI or not. I don't think
I don't
Cowboy was.
remember.
Oh, Ty Davis,
Yep,
right? Wasn't he
yep,
a hat
yep,
too?
yep. I
Yeah, a
think so.
bunch of hats around my circle somehow. I don't know. Like, I always had this weird problem with authority, and somehow I made really good friends with a whole bunch of hats. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
Which is crazy, dude, because you go back to that, dude. I wish we could find that video and post it as a short, because there was this video of us doing the track day stuff, and we just got off the track. It was a race between you and I.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there nodding, and I'm just like epically like animated because I'm so pumped that I'm dude, I was chasing you guys for 2 years and I finally caught you.
Yeah.
And that was like a big moment for me. Even though I didn't beat you, I was right there. And I remember I was so animated and I was all over the place. And you're just like, yeah, cool story, bro. You didn't beat me.
I don't remember it that way, but okay.
I mean, it was kind of like that, but you were just like, yeah, but we always shared those kind of
Yeah, totally.
those. Walter Nitto was the other kid.
Oh
That's the guy.
yeah, Walt Nato Jr., right?
Yeah, yeah. Like it was. I mean, they was.
And
Dude, you
Cody
could lay a
Cody
blend.
Cody Newman.
Yep, Cody
Yeah.
Newman.
Cody Newman's still kind of one of my guys, but he's kind of like he's got a wife and kid, and he's kind of like not riding too much anymore. But I'm sure we'll see him. Um, but yeah, most of the guys from that era don't even race anymore. That was like you know
Hmm.
once people get to their third year, that's it for the most part. Club racing, sad.
It is sad, and I would have kept going if it wasn't for my career, and that's kind of why I'm doing it back now. And it's great because like my ex-wife and I have a 4-year-old son, and dude, she is like super supportive. He's at the track with me, and it's just now an extent. I got I just got an awesome crew around me, and I'm at the point in my life, Dustin, where like you helped me so much, and your team and people help me, and I'm trying to do the same to keep the sport alive.
Yeah,
Like Gabe's the kid's name, so like I help out here and there, and make sure he's at the track, and just kind of keep him away from the motorcycle. And I got a crew that I hired to kind of take care of the bike, so this kid can focus on racing, and I can focus on riding. Um, and it works out because I just want to get back to the sport. I just want to do this as
yeah,
long as I can and help out, riders that are humble that want to do it.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the old WSMC Curtis Adams role, right? Where you know, I mean, I've had that moment where I had it a lot with CVMA, and then I did see it a bit with the CRA as well. But like these young racers would come up to me, and they had that same look on their face that I had when I was talking to Curtis and Jeff, right? Um, Jeff Stern, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, just to clarify. Um, and they're looking at me like that, and I'm like, bro, if they only knew, I'm just a giant dummy. But I mean, I do have quite a bit of experience in this, so of course, I'm going to give them true information that I have. I'm not going to hide anything.
Yeah. And it's funny. I looked up to you and all the fast and took Jeremy Toy. I mean, he's an animal. I mean, I
Dude,
remember that one time that he got black flagged for something and he rode through hot pit on the
yes.
back tire. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
he's I don't know if the finger was in the air or not, but he was definitely
Yeah.
heated that he had a black flag
Yeah,
penalty, man, or he got meatballed.
CVMA had this and this was the last time they had that rule. But they had a like you had to come into the pits if you blew if you jumped the start.
Jump start?
Yeah.
Jump start, yeah.
And so he came in and he just smoked through the paddock or through the hot pit lane, and there was people standing there and shit, and it was like, okay, like, I think the club was like, yeah, okay, that was a giant fuck up. We thanks for exposing that to us, Jeremy. It was like that kind of thing. But yeah, that was pretty nuts. Everybody's
And
like, whoa, you know.
and that's another I think secret from the East Coast to the West Coast now. I don't know how it is now, but like the endurance racing. Dude, it is the it is the thing here. Like and I wholeheartedly agree. Like if you want to get fast and understand how to ride tired, go get some of your buddies and team up, man. Get 3 riders on a little SV or an R7 or a 600 and go do a 4 hour. You will thank yourself, man. That is such a great time. And then you can get lapped by like Daniela Petrucci, like I did last year, and
Yeah,
Josh Hayes and all those guys.
yeah. Oh, that's right, because they had that endurance race at Pittsburgh the week before, right? The
Dude,
endurance
dude,
race.
yeah, endurance race. And you
Yeah,
want to talk about, I'll use my word again, fucking pipe hitters just out there. You're like, oh, that's Army of Darkness with Josh Hayes. That's Daniela Petrucci. Oh, that's Heron. And it's like, really, guys? How the fuck is this fair?
yeah. Well,
So,
it is fair,
everybody's,
Don't be a
yeah,
pussy. Don't be
yeah,
afraid. Don't
man
be
up, right?
scared, right?
Right. Yeah, us little guys on twins are out there just getting it, we
Yeah.
think, and then shoo, they're gone.
Oh, dude. Like, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had a show with Hawk Mazzotta, and
But that was a good show. I
it was
did watch
pretty
that one.
funny, like learning that dude was like, we were kind of chewing some of the same ground, and we were talking about like the Willow days, and it's exactly kind of like what you described, except with different names. So, like
Hmm.
when I was coming up, it was like, club racing. Richard would bring Mark Miller out with this Formula Extreme bike, and then later on Pridmore and Hayes.
Yep.
I can remember being in a race and finishing fourth, like behind, I think it was Tommy Hayden and like Jamie Hacking
Oh
and
my God,
Anthony
man.
Gobert, and then me, right? And I'm like, fuck,
And
bro, like that's crazy. Or like going through turn 8, 9 and watching Jake Zimke on the Honda FX bike just fucking ripping. And now it's those guys are, except for Josh Hayes, those guys are not riding anymore. But
that guy's an Iron Man, dude.
yeah.
That
Did
was
you hear
funny
about
because
that? Did you hear about this weekend? Like he's kind of the reserve hitter for he's the, I guess you could say, the reserve pipe hitter for
there you go.
yeah,
There you go.
nice.
I I did hear that because it's funny. I was introduced to him through one of your workers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Aoki.
Oh, to Josh Hayes?
Yeah, I think she was living with Melissa and Josh at the
Oh,
time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Christine Voros. Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, that's it. She worked for you for a while, didn't she?
Yeah, yeah, she did. Yeah, she
Yeah,
was kind of like, she kind of came in with Sal Anaya.
yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah,
remember how
uh-huh.
that worked out?
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing. For for me, I watched all those guys, like the guys that are leading now, and I raced all those guys, and it's just like you see some of these kids that are now like, yeah, like Jake Gagne and all those guys and Bovier. And I remember them as kids. Now you know, they're just now getting out and getting after it and, winning championships and everything like that. So it's crazy to think how full circle it comes after just 10 years.
So I'm being asked what's going on with Josh Hayes. So Yamaha made an announcement today, basically, but because there's a lot of rumors flying around, and Cam P number 45 kind of got injured in testing after the Barber race weekend, like the Monday after. I want to say he had an injury to his wrist, and but the team plans for him to have a bike available for him to ride. I believe he's going to try to ride, and but if for whatever reason if he can't do it, then they need somebody to ride the bike, and it just so happens a certain famous squid hunter is available, right? So it's kind of a perfect fit. I know that Josh has expressed interest in riding the thing in the past. So perhaps this weekend, if it doesn't work out for CP45, Josh will get the step up.
Well, now will he do double duty? Will he still run
Oh,
the 600?
yeah, of course. He'll be like old
Yeah.
school. Like back in the day, that's what all the superbike guys used to do anyway, right?
Yep.
They would
Yeah.
do they would do the 600 and the superbike, right? So,
So
you
I'm
know,
hearing two different stories. Are they going to go faster at Road America, or I mean, with
I
this
don't
new
know,
fresh
man. I've
surface?
I've heard some shit about the surface. They've got this new surface there, but I've heard that the testing times were pretty slow. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, you never know, because like, did Jake write it? Did you know? And there's been a club or a couple of track days or something since the repave, right? So maybe there's some rubber laid down. I don't know. So I don't want to like make any predictions, but I know that all the teams that are trying to win are going to try to win, and that's that, including the Attack Yamaha crew, who is kind of used to winning. So
Yeah. And so far, so good. The weather looks promising.
yeah, yeah, because that place is, it could rain there, huh? Like it's kind of done that weird, if half on off kind of shit before. So
Yeah. It's still, man, that's the north. And
that's
I
why you
mean,
guys have such green grass and all the trees and shit around. Like your tracks aren't in desert wastelands like us.
Dude, the first time I went off the track here, I'm back brake, back brake, back brake, back brake. Dude, I'm not slowing down at all, man. It's just like, nope, got to dump. I got to dump and pitch before I hit this tire wall because
Wow.
you just slide, and especially if it rained like the day prior. Dude, nope. You're just praying to God that you can get the bike hoed down in enough time to
Yeah.
not wad it up.
Yeah. Okay. So, I noticed that you've got some similar placards on your wall to these, except they're newer,
I do. I
right?
do. Right in my background,
Oh,
right
look at
there.
that. They're same. Oh, look, we shop at the same store. Isn't
Yep.
that something?
Yep.
Nice.
WSMC. I
Yeah,
am
I
the
mean,
last of the old
like when
generation.
you race for a long time, like you end up with more, but you know, the
Yeah.
WSMC, the WSMC championship placards, or I kept them just because, So,
There you go. And all the slid lids that you probably crashed in the past up on
oh,
your
those ones
wall.
there? Yeah,
Yeah.
those are all trash.
But
Right?
now you're on this new KYT that seems to be pretty
Dude,
badass.
it is, man. Like it's just it's like it weighs nothing. It's like I went to Cycle Gear the other day because I started seeing some social media about the Shui X15, and
They're pretty neat looking.
I went to Cycle Gear and I picked it up and I couldn't put it down fast enough. I was like, dude, I would never put this on my head. It's so fucking heavy. Like I'm not one to say something shit in public like that unless I think it is. And man, after riding the KYT, like the helmets that you get here in the States that aren't
Well, that's what you used to bust my balls about because I
FIM,
used
right?
to,
Like FIM,
yeah.
if it's FIM certified, then it's probably going to be quite a bit lighter. And I don't know why don't just all the road race helmets kind of be FIM certified? I don't understand why they need to have the Snell stamp in the US, a lot of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I was the kind of I wore 1,000 helmets and used to bust my balls all the time. I tried
Oh,
Next,
because
I
you were
tried
wearing like
Super.
shit helmets. Did you have that Next thing?
I did for a while,
Yeah,
man.
dude. I was like, I wouldn't take a shit in that helmet. Like, what's wrong with you, man?
I jumped in. I don't care to tell people. I jumped from HJC. Now I'm wearing Scorpion, and I love my Scorpion, man. I absolutely love my Scorpion. It's light. It's FIM. It's the old Quadraro helmet before he jumped to HJC, but my HJC was just too heavy.
Yeah,
Um, I get much better field of vision
yeah.
from the Scorpion.
Yeah, I mean, the iPort and the KYT compared to the 14 that I wore before. iPort's way bigger. The helmet's super light. Um, all my guys say, like, when they're in the tuck, the back of the helmet doesn't interfere with your arrow hump. Like, you know,
It's amazing.
everybody kind of comments on that wears it. And then, I've tested it at a high rate of speed. That sucked. I did rip the face shield off of it, the visor. So
Mm-hmm.
like the iPort tried to turn itself into a shovel with my head still in it. But
Oh,
yeah, it was a good time. Got a couple of black
but
eyes out of it. That was fun. Um, Gil just had one. A couple of the guys have had offs and tested them, and we're the same level of dummy. So I
I
call
don't.
that a win.
I've wrecked in a bunch of different helmets, and I don't think I've ever kept my face shield on. For some reason, they just come off. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's really any manufacturer, even with a pin lock or whatever. They just come off. But when I broke, so I've got a plate and 13 screws from Nelson Ledges. Um, I got taken out there and just got handed. But did you, a funny fact, did you know that they did 24-hour endurance races back in the day?
Yeah.
They did them here at Nelson.
Oh no, no. Oh, in cars or
No,
oh
motorcycles.
motorbikes? Wow, dude. I know
Yeah,
they did them out here at Willow.
that was
Weira
the
did.
Toyota.
No,
Yeah,
Weira used to do 24-hour endurances out here, and I think the last one might have been 2000, maybe. Yeah, 99 or 2000. I don't think it was
yeah.
01 because obviously that
Can you
happened.
imagine doing that?
Yeah, bro. And the crazy thing is, like, I was around, And I got called. I could have done it, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not riding at Willow at night. That's crazy. I'm still trying to learn this place." And
I, I could
Jacob
I could
West,
just imagine
my
seeing a deer jump across the track.
my longtime friend Jacob West, he was a mechanic for Attack back then, so he got to do a stint at nighttime on Richard's R7 thing, and he's like, "Bro, we were doing like 24s at night." I'm like, "Dude, I can't even do 24s
Wow,
in the daytime, bro." Like, what the
right?
fuck? So yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. And, I remember back then, a lot of those teams like ArcLight, Suzuki, and those guys, they had like crazy light setups. And, it wasn't like, it wasn't like the Grand Prix race that happens at, out in the desert, was it
Right.
Qatar, right? It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's like they put reflector tapes on the ground and people had headlights facing out like that and then like
Nope.
one forward and that was it, dude. And
Yeah, it's crazy to think because I seen old pictures because I think that's the cool thing now being an East Coast riders, you get to see a little bit more because we got all that they used to race out here and
yeah.
the vintage and everything and you know, especially like New Jersey and Mid Ohio, it just sucks that somebody doesn't buy up Middle. Me personally, I don't like Brainerd. I mean, I haven't rode it, but I think
I've
Mid
ridden
Ohio.
Brainerd. Brainerd's actually fun to ride, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's fast as shit, dude. Like, but the thing is, it's a little weird for me being a desert rat out here, like, and you see those walls, they're awfully close looking, But, I remember, was it 2021? I got to go there and test the R7 with the team, while the team was testing super bikes. And, yeah, dude, that place is like, you roll through there and it's like turn one, two, three. You're like, you're getting some, dude. Like it's
Like
rad, dude.
Miller? Like Miller Motorsports Park or whatever it's called now?
It's
Utah.
different, but
Okay.
fast. I mean, like on the R7, it's like you tip into turn two and the thing kind of accelerates on the side of the tire, like a little
Mm.
bit. Like you tip in, it's like whoa, the needle just goes up. It's pretty rad, dude. But it's also sketchy, like in some places. I was like, whoa, that wall's awfully close. Ooh, that wall's kind of close. Ooh, man. So
That's the East Coast. That's
I
most
could
of the
only
East Coast here.
imagine, like there's a guy from the original CRA that I've been talking to kind of since I helped start our CRA. Because,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I kind of pissed off a couple of the OG CRA people on social media because they're like, you fucking California people always, I'm like, bro, I looked up the URL. I didn't find shit. So, like, we made the t shirt already. Like, calm the fuck down. And, so like I met a couple of people at the test and then, we start talking, whatever. So I think I'm going to do a show with this guy, Jesse, that's out of there. But,
Hmm.
he races an R1 as well. But dude, Jesse tells me some shit, dude. Like back in the day, like if you pull up old YouTube videos from the Nationals at Brainerd and you see the configuration that they're using versus what is being used now, dude, the OG config is like that's where the separated the men from the boys, dude. Like turn one at Brainerd back then, it's like back then, dude, it was like 20 years ago, like 180 plus mile an hour, bro. Like it's
Oh my God, man.
amazing. I am like, dude, let's open that up. Let's see 200. So I don't know.
Well, there's apparently this new track being built in Tennessee that's supposed to be, I don't know if it's supposed
The
to be
Ozark track or whatever.
Ozark. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the Ozarks.
yeah, that'd be kind
Yeah.
of neat.
Oh, I'm hitting it up for sure if it happens.
So
I mean,
Chris
I want to.
McCreary's asking about what happened to Brainer and Coda on Motor America's website. I don't know, man, but I'm pretty sure they're still racing at Coda. I want to say Coda is in October,
Hmm.
and I can't remember if Brainerd is after Laguna. I think Brainerd's after Laguna, right?
Yeah,
Or
I think
right
it
before.
goes, yeah, back and then comes back this way
Yeah,
towards
because I think
Pittsburgh,
they go Brainerd, Laguna, and then the Ridge, right? Or maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
something like that. Yeah, I
Yes.
don't know.
Sorry, dude. If you can't find the schedule, I could dig it up, but you know, that's not. Greg White would know.
Greg White, Gregopedia. I
I'm
used to,
just not that guy.
no, dude, he is like, I used to ride with him a lot because
Yeah.
when I was doing the Pritmore thing, he's got all this knowledge, man. It's crazy, dude. He can just spout off like stats from like 2011.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bearded Jixer is saying, didn't Scott Brody pass away from a crash at Brainerd? Yeah, dude,
He
I
did.
think that was last year actually, and it was a
It
pretty
was.
bad deal. Um, I know there is some discussion about air fence placement and that kind of stuff, but just like every other fatality that's ever happened, it's always something weird, you know, something weird that nobody would ever expect to happen. Like somehow the dude just got a little sideways, got pointed the wrong way, and you know, it's a bad deal. But yeah, I mean, the track, it's like the configuration that's being used right now. It's fun to ride, but man, I look at the when you go through the what's turn one now, and you can kind of look to rider's left and see like the OG turn one, and you're like, fuck, bro, like that's
Wow.
like you're rolling. I mean, it's like these guys would be like on a drag strip, bah, 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 like forever, and like would wouldn't even roll off. I mean, there's a video of Aaron Yates on a Suzuki Yosh 600 back then, like '02 or something. And dude, he's like on the stick and he tips in and the bike keeps accelerating, dude. Like you don't even hear him lift. And it's so rad.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, it goes Road America, the Ridge, Laguna, then Brainerd, then
Yeah,
here,
Brainerd's
then
in July and then Coda's in September actually.
yep.
Yeah. I knew it was
Yeah,
something like
and
that. I think Coda might be the same weekend or maybe the weekend prior to when I do that long bicycle ride.
yeah, like September 8th through the 10th is Coda, then
Oh,
the
okay.
end of September is New
Jersey.
Jersey for
Yeah.
final
So
round.
yeah, so Jersey's that weekend. So yeah, a few weeks before. Maybe I'll make Coda. I don't know. We'll see.
Never know.
Yeah, I mean, to go and hang out with the team for a weekend and eat barbecue for a weekend sounds like a good time. You
That's
know.
a great place to do it, man.
You been?
Texas.
You been to Coda?
I've never rode there, but yes, I've been to the track. Yeah.
All right.
It,
So, we're almost an hour and a half in. So, what's your favorite track so far?
oh man, probably it's a toss up between Barber and here at home.
Oh, Pittsburgh? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Pittsburgh. There's just something about it. It's so challenging. Barber's the most beautiful. The obviously the scenery and everything with the museum, but the track is like super challenging. But I don't know. There's just something about Pittsburgh. I just really enjoy it, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. And then what's like your I brag about this shit. This is like my best moment in racing. This is what I'm gonna take with me forever moment. What's that?
Well, dude, I hope I have some more, man. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know, just being out there with all the crew and I'll take like the CVMA days. I'll take that, all of that combined.
Really?
Uh, yeah, dude, I just
Like
had
a
so
moment,
much
like
fun.
where you like put like an epic pass on somebody, or
Okay.
you had like an epic, pass the dude for the lead like 20 times, and like you don't have that. You have like
Oh, dude,
hanging out with the homies at CVMA, bro. Like, dude, you
I
should put
had
out more. Like if that's your
dude. So I had a moment, man. I had a moment where I qualified third. I don't know where you were at, but I know I qualified third. I got the photo to prove it. And I'm looking over, and all I see is Brian Short and Benny Solis. And I'm like, oh, fuck, we're going into turn one. Here we go. And I finished where I started. I finished in third. And that was like one of my like amazing moments because, dude, I did everything I could to keep at least Shorty in sight. And Zader was right on my ass, man. I mean,
Oh,
dude,
so
he
you
was
beat
just,
you beat Baby Z.
yeah, dude. I mean, he's just like doing this everywhere. And I'm like, ah, fuck, fuck. I want
His
this podium
dad,
so fuck.
that kid's dad is still one of my staff dudes.
Is he
Yeah,
really?
Steven Zader. Like he's got a Yamaha MT-10.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
dude,
Andrew
Baby
John,
Z ain't a baby anymore, dude. That kid's in his 20s and he's married with kids. Like
wow.
yeah. So,
That's crazy, dude. But that
yeah.
was my defining moment there is just n nobody in front of me. I mean, you've done it, so you know what it feels like. There's nobody in front of you.
Yeah.
You're in third and you got a clear shot to the turn.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. That was probably my racing moment, but I'm hoping to have more.
And that was a Chuck Walla moment.
Chuck Walla, man.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, and then you're racing the R7. and you're digging it so far, yeah?
I love the R7, man. It's such an amazing platform, and it teaches you so much. I mean, especially a bigger guy, I'm a little bit more roll speed. I don't have a big R1 to pull myself out of the corner like you do, so I have to carry the corner speed. So I'm learning all of that, and that's something that's still escaping me is doing that. But the R7, dude, Bryce built a badass bike, dude. These things rip. Um, they're all over the place here,
Oh, I
man.
know, dude.
The
Bryce
SVs are dead.
Bryce has that fucking BPR army going, dude. Like every time I go to the track, there's like more of them, and I'm like, bro, they're it's like contagious.
Yeah,
Like every time I show up, and they're different colors too. Like first they're black and yellow, and then they're like silver, and now they've got blue on them, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like
yeah.
they change livery more than like
You haven't seen his new one yet, have you?
yeah, it's like blue and
Yeah,
yellow, right?
yeah,
It's not black, it's blue.
yeah. It's different, but that's the thing,
And he
man.
has a
Like he
number
just,
one plate on it at AFM, I think, right? So
well, I think so. Yeah,
and I believe he's number one at CRA as well. So
yeah, excellent. Are you racing still? Or I
yeah,
mean, are you
yeah.
just
Like I raced at Podium Club the last round of CRA, but I'm kind of taking a break from that because I can't really train and risk getting hurt for this crazy
fundraiser,
525-mile bicycle ride I'm doing, you know?
which you are a crazy asshole for doing, but
I
it's for a good
mean,
cause.
you know, I think I talked about this last night with the show, but like a lot of the things I do in life are it's like all or nothing, right?
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's just how it is, you know? So I've kind of always wanted to do it. I talked to this guy, he's like a bicycle racer out here. His name's Rashawn Bahati. And I was like, bro, I'm thinking about doing this. He's like, you need me to train you? And I'm like, no, I got Nate Loyal, right? So, um, but yeah, like he's, they were talking about doing organizing like a century ride with 10,000 feet of climbing. I was like, sign me up for that, dude. So,
yeah, you'll get your ass kicked there, but it'll be a great ass
oh
kicking.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that Bahati guy like races like he's like a pro guy, you know? So,
No, man, I'm
I think
good.
he's that dude that you see in the Zwift commercials.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Craziness, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, this guy is kind of nuts, you know. But so what's your ultimate goal for this season? Like, are you like
Um,
improving a lap time? Are you gonna try to finish higher up? Like, what's your master plan, dude?
I think my master plan is just, get one with the R7, and I'd like to get down to, I don't know, the 54s, 55s here at Pittsburgh, and just maybe podium some
Where are you
twins.
now?
Oh God, man.
Are you
I'm
over two
finishing.
minutes still? Or are you
Unofficially, I'm under 2 minutes,
okay?
but that's only track day lap time, so that shit doesn't count.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm still right at the cusp, but we're working on some things. Those attack rear sets I think are going to help me. And dude, I just got to stop riding like a squid and get out of my own head and get off the struggle bus.
And then what do you like? So what's your plan to go from wherever the fuck you are now to 54s?
Well, to be
Like, are
honest
you
with
planning on
you,
dropping like 4 seconds, or like, is it 4 seconds or is it 2 seconds?
like four, but I think I'm going to need,
Wow.
honestly, I need to go to champ school.
Okay.
That's what I need to do. I need to go to a champ
I
school.
know a guy that
I
could
need to
maybe
get,
help with that.
yeah, exactly. I need to go to a champ school. I need some professional coaching.
Okay.
And I got to get out of my own way, Dustin.
I think they have them. Don't they have them sometimes like right after the national or right before?
We're the Tuesday, Wednesday before.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So there you go,
yeah,
dude. Sign up and hit up easy and be like, "Hey,
yep,
bro, give me the fucking real deal," you know?
yeah.
Tell him
But
I said so.
I will tell him that. But my big thing is helping my kid. I want to get this kid, get his first for yellow plate season out of the way.
Yeah.
Maybe have him win a class championship, and then maybe potentially throw him on my bike next year.
There you go.
So
Oh,
I
you're
don't know. We'll
talking about
see.
retiring from racing? Is that what you're gonna do? And you'd be like a
No, I'm
team
going to keep
player?
riding.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to keep
You're gonna have
riding.
Bryce build
Obviously,
you another one?
potentially, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, he's got like kind of like when I was over there at the end of last year, like I was over there, I sold him a bike, and so I was over there, and dude, he had like an assembly line going. Like it was like a R6 engine factory, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's like
He's the
boom,
real
boom, boom,
deal.
boom, and I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like they're building some engines, and they're not
Yeah.
just like Bryce isn't doing stuff just for bikes either. I think he's doing some stuff for like the dirt track car shit too,
Yes.
like the
Yes,
midget
he is.
stuff or whatever.
Hmm.
So like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts building shit for airplanes, go karts, like.
I don't know, man. Well, him and back in the day when that tuned industry thing between him and Mike Pond were going, I mean, they were building some pretty good bikes. I mean, they had that pro team for a while.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
Mike's working for Altus now. Like he's the crew chief.
Altus,
Yeah, he's the crew chief for the Altus guys now.
yeah. The who's doing the fill-in ride for?
Well, it was Anthony Norton for Road Atlanta and Barber, and I
Yeah.
believe it's Miles Thornton returning to that team for this weekend.
Now is
So
Posh not coming back at all this season?
I have no idea. I see him posting shit on social media, but I don't know if it's old. I from what I understand, he got fucked up. Like I don't know, he broke
I
a leg or
heard.
did he break a leg or
Yeah,
something? Yeah.
back. I thought.
Oh,
Said it
he
was his
broke his
back.
back. Ooh, that
I think
sucks.
it was his back, man.
Been down that
Yeah.
road.
Yep.
Let's see. Chris McCreary says that Mark Young trains at Nelson's and Mid Ohio.
Yep.
Mark
No
Young
Mark
is
Young.
dude. Mark Young is that old Vezra Suzuki dude, right?
Yep, and he's fast.
Well, yeah. Like how many national endurance championships that dude win? Like all of them for
There's a
years.
lot of fast guys here on the East
Like
Coast,
his
man. I mean,
his endurance team was like a factory Suzuki team,
oh
right?
yeah,
Back then.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, back then. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and then let's see. Irate Barry says he owns a Polaris dealer now. So let's see if the King of the Hammers. Let's see the King if he does a King of the Hammers build. Is that Bryce? Does Bryce own Polaris in that Yamaha
I
dealer
don't
in
think so.
Bakersfield? I don't know.
I
Or
don't
is he
know if he
talking
does
about
or
Mark
not.
Young? I'm not sure.
He might be
Barry
talking about
Barry
Young.
works at Moto United in Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like he actually came out and raced with us at Podium Club. So I was like, all right, come down
That
to the
track looks sick.
dude. It's
That track
so
looks
fun.
amazing.
You're like, I keep telling people that track, like once they get all the facilities and water running and everything, like it's still in the early stages. It's sort of like it's in a better way, but it's sort of like the early days of Chuckwalla with a really small paddock and the Doo Doo Mountain situation. It's sort of
Yeah.
like that without Doo Doo Mountain. But man, the surface is so good. Like it's got so much grip on it, and you know that high speed stuff, and then that good mix through that S section, and the weird shit on the other side. I'm like, man, it's a lot of fun, dude. It's a lot of fun. It's like a oasis in the middle of fucking nowhere. So
Maybe one day I'll get out there and
you
ride it.
should, dude. Just I got a fleet of bikes. I know a guy. I'm just saying.
I might have to fly in then.
Yeah, dude. You should. You should. But yeah, like so yeah, he says Bryce has Polaris and KTM now, including in addition to the Yamaha that he has. So,
Good for
dude,
him.
good for Bryce, man. Like that he's made motorbikes a career for himself. Because I know that he was a smart kid. I believe he was like studying to be like an engineer or something really smart. And instead of that, he's chosen to do the motorbike thing. And I'm like, man, that's pretty admirable.
And he's not too slow either.
Yeah, the dude still can ride, man. Like, he rips.
Yeah,
He
dude, he is
definitely
super
rips.
fast. Oh yeah, 100%.
So, well, you know what, Randall? It's been a great chat, buddy. I wish you the best of luck the rest of this season. And any final words? You want to like thank a sponsor or something?
No, just right.
I see you got Bison on your shit. You want to thank that dude?
Yeah, and absolutely, man, 100%. Bison has been a huge supporter for me. I mean, they hooked me up with suits. Rob and Tasha, they live the life. I don't know if you know them, but they live the
I've
life.
met
They live
him.
at the track. Yeah, he's awesome, dude, man. And their suits have saved my hide a couple times, but them and a gentleman down the road. He's an old school road racer. His name's Joe DeStefano. I couldn't be doing without him. And then Mositis Motorsports, man, they hook me up with parts, and they're just they're awesome. And they also give me free track time on Mondays when it's kind of a closed session. So it's a nice test day.
That sounds like a good time. Free track time?
Yeah,
I'm all about
yeah,
that, dude.
yeah,
Sign me
one
up for
percent,
that
dude.
shit. So they're giving you
Come
free
on
track
out.
time at Pittsburgh or
Yep,
no way. That's
yep, we
awesome.
do. Yeah, they do a staff ride every Monday, almost every Monday in the summer, and let us come out. There's another guy you probably heard of him, Gary Yonkowski. He does a lot of. He's a really fast local dude, and we go out and ride. Now, I mean, we don't go crazy, but it's a nice time to go out and test and tune. But yeah, without those core people, man, dude, I couldn't be where I'm at right now without that help. They've
Yeah,
just done so
none
much
of
for
us
me.
can, dude. Like it's hard to do this thing solo mission, you know? Like it takes a village, so to speak, right? So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and it's super awesome,
And
man.
you're
I
like, who
mean,
the fuck are you? You're like some club racer guy on an R7 that's old, and you're still
yep,
getting some help to get things going. And I think that's cool. That's what's great about club racing, you know. And that's part of the reason why I talk to club racers, you know, because like I'm a club racer myself, grassroots guy, and there's a lot more club racers than there are the elite pro guys. So I think that we kind of have we don't really get a look, you know. And so to talk like you're not we're not we're like regular human dudes, right? So it's interesting to see that there's you're into this, I'm into this, and you do what you do for a living and I do what I do for a living, but when we grit up, that doesn't fucking matter. And I love
nope,
that about club racing. So
100%. We could save a lot of fucking money by not racing, but we choose to race.
Mike C is saying I should go to the pit weekend before the national and race in the 6 hour. Well, that'd be cool. I don't have it. I'm not on a team or anything, but you offer me a
Let's set
ride,
it up.
dude? Like,
Let's do it. It's a 4 hour, but we could do it. Man,
is it a
somebody,
4 hour? Okay.
it's a 4 hour, man. Let's
I,
do
I'd
it.
be down. I'd be down to do it. I just don't have a ride. I don't know anybody that, you know, maybe if you want me to go, like, send the invite, dude. I'd be down.
Maybe we can put something together.
Yeah, I have a suit bag. Like, I can fly with it. Like, whatever.
Let's
Right?
do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what, man? It's been a good chat, dude. It's been fun. I hope you had fun, and I'm gonna let you get back to whatever you're doing because I know it's late on that side of the country.
It's sleepy time, dude. I'm done.
Yeah, bro. All right,
Yep.
man. Well, next time.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. See ya.